Eli Winters had never expected his life to change on a quiet, routine research mission. He was a scientist, yes, but he loved adventure more than most people. Today, he was exploring Zephora, a planet that had remained largely untouched, a hidden jewel in the far reaches of human space. Its sky was a soft shade of violet, dotted with two suns that cast golden reflections over floating crystal formations. The planet smelled faintly of minerals and sweet flowers, a combination that made Eli feel alive in a way Earth never could. He knelt by a glowing lake, studying the reflection of the crystal formations that hovered above the water. The colors danced in shades of green and pink, and Eli's mind raced with thoughts of the planet's unique atmosphere, the unknown flora, and the strange energy he could sense in the air. He had his scanner out, taking notes, humming quietly to himself as he worked. Suddenly, a shadow passed over him. Eli looked up, squinting against the twin suns. At first, he thought it was a cloud, but clouds didn't move like that. The shadow grew, expanding until the sky seemed to darken beneath it. A massive vessel descended almost silently, gliding over the floating crystals like it belonged there. Eli's heart pounded. He had seen alien ships on screens and in simulations, but this was real. The vessel landed on a plateau near the lake with a grace that defied physics. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, reflecting the light of the suns in waves of silver and blue. The landing produced no sound, no vibration, just an eerie calm. Eli's instincts told him to run, but curiosity rooted him to the spot. He adjusted his scanner, trying to detect life signs. There was something inside, something very large. Then the doors opened. Eli froze. From the ship emerged a figure that seemed almost unreal. She was tall, taller than any human by at least 3 feet, and her skin had a soft, luminescent glow, shifting in colors like the surface of the lake. Her eyes were large and almond-shaped, deep purple and filled with intelligence and warmth. Her robe-like attire flowed without wind, sparkling with intricate patterns that seemed alive. Every movement she made was graceful, almost like she was dancing even while walking. And then she bowed. Eli blinked, taken aback. Not in anger, not in fear, not in ceremony of dominance, but in respect. The alien's head bent slowly, her entire posture conveying a sense of reverence. Eli's mouth went dry. His mind raced with questions. Why is she bowing? Who am I to deserve this? He stumbled backward slightly, unsure whether to respond with a bow, a wave, or nothing at all. The Empress's gaze stayed on him. There was no malice, no threat, only recognition. And for some reason, that recognition made Eli's heart pound with a mixture of fear and awe. A soft voice filled his mind, not through sound, but somehow inside him. A translator device he had worn around his neck buzzed and clicked. The voice was calm, melodic, and distinctly female. Eli Winters, it said. We have waited for you. Eli's eyes widened. Waited for me? The words didn't make sense. Humans were tiny specks in the galaxy compared to the Zypherans. Why would an alien empress, someone who seemed more powerful than entire nations on Earth, wait for him? He opened his mouth to speak but stopped. Somehow words felt unnecessary. The alien continued to bow, a slow, deliberate motion that radiated dignity and patience. Finally, she straightened. Eli noticed small details he had missed before. The subtle shimmer of light in her hair, the soft vibration of energy that emanated from her, the way her presence seemed to make the air itself feel alive. Please, the voice said. Come with me. Eli's legs felt weak, but curiosity overpowered caution. He nodded, barely able to speak. Okay. As he approached the vessel, he noticed the doors closing behind her. The interior of the ship was more incredible than anything he could have imagined. The walls pulsed with gentle light, changing colors as if responding to his presence. The floor was smooth and soft, like walking on clouds, yet solid. Holographic symbols floated in midair, shimmering, twisting, and turning in intricate patterns. Do you understand why I bowed? The Empress asked, her voice echoing slightly in the chamber. Eli shook his head. I don't. She smiled, a gesture that made the whole chamber feel warmer. Few do at first. Humans are unusual in the galaxy. You are rare. Rare, Eli echoed, still trying to process the situation. Yes, she said. You have a gift, Eli Winters. A way of seeing patterns in the universe that even my people struggle to understand. Eli's mind spun. He was a scientist, yes, but he never imagined that his careful observation of natural phenomena could matter to a being from another world. I don't know what to say. Say nothing, she replied. Actions will speak louder. With that, she guided him to a platform in the center of the ship. It lifted off smoothly, rising above the lake and the floating crystals, offering a panoramic view of Zephora. Eli could see the entire landscape, the glimmering lakes, the forests of tall luminescent plants, and the shimmering city of the Zephyrans in the distance. It was breathtaking. Most species never leave their home planets, the Empress said softly. But humans explore. You seek knowledge not for conquest but for understanding. That is why you are important. Eli felt a strange warmth in his chest. For a long moment he realized that the Empress's bow had not been a gesture of submission, but of recognition. She saw something in him, something unique, something valuable. I don't know why, Eli said again, though this time his voice carried less fear and more awe. In time you will understand, she replied. Her gaze swept over him, kind but intense, as if measuring every thought in his mind. For now, we journey together. As the vessel moved smoothly through the violet sky, Eli felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Everything he knew about the universe had just changed. He was no longer just a human explorer on a remote planet. He was part of something far larger, something beyond comprehension. He glanced at the Empress, trying to understand her more, to find a hint of the reason behind her respect. But she only smiled, serene and knowing, as if she had already seen the answer inside him. And in that moment, Eli realized that the bow, the gesture that had confused him so deeply, was not just about him. It was about what humans could be in a galaxy that often underestimated them. For the first time in his life, he felt truly seen, not just as a human, not just as a scientist, but as a being capable of something extraordinary. The ship moved gracefully above Zephora, gliding over sparkling lakes and forests of towering luminous plants. Eli Winters felt a mix of awe and disbelief. The colors, the shapes, the sheer beauty of the world below. It was unlike anything he had ever seen on Earth or in the star charts he had studied. Every moment felt unreal. The Empress Xylaria walked beside him, her movements elegant and deliberate. Her robes seemed alive, shifting in color like liquid light. Though she had bowed to him earlier, she carried herself with a regal authority that was impossible to ignore. This world is older than many civilizations, she said, her voice calm, echoing slightly through the chamber, and it holds knowledge few have ever accessed. Eli nodded, still taking in the view. He tried to remember to breathe normally, but the excitement in his chest made it difficult. I've never seen anything like this, he admitted. Xylaria smiled. You will see more. Zephora is just one of many places where knowledge is preserved. My people study the universe in ways humans cannot yet imagine. Eli's curiosity surged. You study the universe? Yes, she replied. And yet, even with all our understanding, some patterns elude us. That is why your presence is important. Eli stopped in his tracks. Me, I'm just a scientist. I study plants, energy, basic things. Do not underestimate yourself, Xylaria said gently. Humans have a gift that even advanced civilizations find rare. The ability to see connections where others see only chaos, to create order from the unknown. Eli swallowed, feeling both humbled and nervous. He had always known humans were clever, but he had never imagined that his curiosity and pattern recognition could be so significant to a being like her. The vessel descended, landing softly near a grand palace that seemed suspended in the air, connected by floating bridges of crystal. Eli stepped out, his boots sinking slightly into a soft, glowing surface that shimmered underfoot. The palace was unlike anything he had ever seen. Towers spiraled into the sky, walls glowed with faint energy, and plants with translucent leaves grew along terraces and balconies. Strange creatures, small and luminous, flitted between the gardens, leaving trails of sparkling light. Welcome to the Garden of Knowledge, Xylaria said. Here the minds of my people and others are preserved. Books, records, and experiences of countless civilizations are stored in forms you may not yet understand. Eli's eyes widened. This is incredible. How do you even begin to organize all this? Patterns, Xylaria replied simply. Patterns in thought, in behavior, in energy. Some require intuition. Others require logic. Together they form understanding. She led him through a series of corridors lined with glowing symbols, each one floating in midair. The symbols shifted and rearranged themselves as Eli moved, as if responding to his presence. He tried to focus to understand the logic, but it felt like trying to read a language he didn't yet know. Do you see? Xylaria asked. Even I must study carefully, but you may find a way to interpret them differently. Interpret them? Eli asked, puzzled. Yes, she said. Your mind works in ways my people rarely encounter. You can recognize connections, see order where others see only chaos. That is why I bowed to you. Eli stopped trying to process her words. You bowed to me because of my mind? Not just your mind, Xylaria replied. Your mind, combined with curiosity, empathy, and creativity. These are qualities humans possess in abundance. Many species forget the value of exploration and understanding. Humans remember. Eli's heart raced. The idea that humans, his species, could be valued by a civilization so advanced, it was both humbling and exhilarating. They reached a large chamber at the center of the palace. A soft, warm light filled the room, and the walls were lined with crystal panels that displayed images of stars, planets, and strange energy flows. In the center was a platform that hovered a few feet above the ground. Step forward, Xylaria instructed. I want you to see something, Eli obeyed. As he stepped onto the platform, the walls shifted, projecting a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Stars and planets floated in midair, connected by threads of light that pulsed gently. Symbols appeared above each celestial body, flickering with unknown meaning. Eli's eyes widened. This is the Stellar Archive, Xylaria explained. It holds knowledge of civilizations long gone, discoveries lost to time, and secrets of the universe. Even my people cannot fully understand it without guidance. Eli reached out instinctively, touching one of the glowing threads. His fingers passed through the light, and suddenly the symbols rearranged themselves, forming a pattern he could comprehend. He gasped. You see it? Xylaria said, her voice filled with wonder. Not many can. Humans have a unique perspective. You understand the connections that elude even advanced minds. Eli felt a mix of pride and disbelief. I don't understand. I'm just looking. No, Xylaria replied. You are more than that. Observation is the first step to understanding. Humans possess the ability to act on insight, to transform knowledge into creation. That is why you are here. Eli spent hours exploring the archive, guided by the Empress. Each discovery amazed him. Planets with intelligent life that communicated through light, civilizations that built entire cities suspended in energy fields, and archives of species that had disappeared millions of years ago. Every revelation made him realize how much humans could contribute to the galaxy if they embraced curiosity and learning. You are beginning to understand, Xylaria said as they walked through a garden of floating flowers that emitted soft musical tones when touched. Humans have potential beyond what they imagine. You value life, knowledge, and exploration. That is rare, Eli nodded slowly. I think I see. You respect humans not because we are powerful, but because we seek, we create, and we learn. Exactly, Xylaria said. Her eyes shone with admiration. Strength alone is meaningless without wisdom. Many civilizations have fallen because they ignored knowledge and curiosity. Humans have a spark that must be nurtured. As night fell over Zephora, the twin suns setting in the violet sky, the palace lit up with soft, bioluminescent light. Eli stood on a balcony, looking out at the glowing forests and lakes below. He felt small yet important. Small because the universe was vast and he was just one human, but important because he had a chance to be part of something greater. Do you understand why I bowed? Xylaria asked gently. Eli thought for a long moment. He finally nodded. I think I do. You bowed because you saw potential not in me alone but in humans. Yes, she replied. And that potential is rare. Cherish it, Eli Winters. Many species never realize their own value. Eli felt a warmth in his chest, a feeling he had never experienced before. It was pride, yes, but also hope. A hope that humans could achieve greatness in the galaxy without conquest or violence, simply by being curious, kind, and intelligent. Tomorrow, Xylaria continued, you will begin a journey to learn more. I will show you the ways my people study the universe, and together we will unlock knowledge lost for eons. You are ready? Eli smiled, excitement mixing with nervous anticipation. He had no idea what challenges awaited, but he knew one thing. His life would never be the same again. As the night deepened and the stars appeared, Eli realized that this planet, this palace, this Empress, none of it felt alien in the way he had expected. Instead, it felt like he had found a place where humans, with all their curiosity and creativity, could finally belong. The morning on Zephora began with a soft glow, the twin suns casting gentle light over the palace and its floating gardens. Eli Winters awoke feeling a mixture of anticipation and nervousness. Today, Xylaria had told him, he would face the challenge of insight, a test unlike any he had ever imagined, a task designed to see the depth of his mind and the uniqueness of human perception. As he followed the Empress through corridors of shimmering crystal, Eli could feel the energy of the palace vibrating subtly around him. Each step seemed to awaken small glowing flora, their leaves chiming softly like tiny bells. Eli smiled despite his nerves. Even in moments of tension, Zephora's beauty had a way of calming him. They arrived in a vast chamber. The floor was polished crystal, reflecting a sky that seemed to stretch infinitely above them. In the center hovered a holographic projection of the galaxy, stars twinkling like scattered diamonds. Threads of light connected each celestial body, forming intricate patterns that shifted and pulsed. Symbols, unlike any language Eli had ever seen, hovered above the threads, moving and changing as though alive. "This," Xylaria said, her voice calm but commanding, "is the stellar lattice. It contains the wisdom of countless civilizations, their discoveries, histories, and philosophies. Even my people cannot fully understand it without guidance. And today you will help us see patterns we cannot." Eli swallowed hard. "Patterns? How am I supposed to do that?" "Do not overthink," Xylaria replied. "Your strength lies in perception, in seeing connections that are not obvious. Let your mind explore freely. You do not need to know the answer before beginning." The challenge seemed simple in instruction but impossible in execution. Eli stepped closer to the hologram. As he reached out, the threads of light responded, rippling under his fingers. The symbols twisted and shifted, rearranging themselves in patterns that seemed almost familiar, yet just out of reach of comprehension. Hours passed. Eli studied each connection, analyzing the angles and colors, comparing the distances between stars, noticing recurring shapes. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, he began to see relationships emerge. Threads that seemed random aligned into constellations of meaning. Symbols that appeared chaotic began to form sequences. "See here," he whispered to himself, pointing to a cluster of stars connected by a delicate lattice of light. "These symbols, they correspond to energy flows, not physical positions. They're describing movement, transformation." Xylaria observed silently, her eyes wide with fascination. "Yes," she said softly. "You understand the essence, not just the structure. Most beings focus on form. You see function and flow." Eli felt a thrill of pride but also a weight of responsibility. Each discovery unlocked another layer of the lattice, revealing more complexity. He realized that the connections weren't just mathematical. They were stories of civilizations, encoded in ways only a mind willing to explore beyond logic could perceive. "Incredible," Xylaria whispered. "No one in my archives has interpreted this cluster like you. You are truly unique. I'm just trying to understand," Eli said, though he felt a deep sense of accomplishment. "And that is enough," she replied. "Observation, curiosity, and persistence, these are qualities humans possess in abundance. They are rare in the galaxy, and they are powerful." As the hours turned into what felt like days, Eli encountered sections of the lattice that defied immediate comprehension. Threads folded back on themselves, creating loops that seemed paradoxical. Symbols changed meaning depending on their relationships with neighboring clusters. At first, he felt frustration and doubt creeping in. "Maybe I'm not supposed to understand this," he muttered. Xylaria placed a glowing hand on his shoulder. "Do not give up, Eli. Humans see connections others miss precisely because you do not stop at the surface. Trust your mind, and it will guide you." Eli took a deep breath and closed his eyes for a moment. He thought of his life on Earth, of nights spent staring at the stars, trying to make sense of the patterns in nature, of how he had always noticed relationships between things others considered unrelated. Slowly, he opened his eyes and something clicked. He began tracing the loops, following the energy flows rather than the symbols themselves. Patterns of resonance emerged. The chaotic thread straightened into pathways of light, revealing an interconnected story of civilizations learning, thriving, and sometimes fading. Eli realized that the lattice wasn't just data, it was a living narrative. "I see it," he exclaimed, pointing to a section of the hologram. "This isn't just history, it's a map of knowledge transfer. how civilizations influenced one another over time. These threads, they represent ideas, not just space. Silaria's eyes shimmered with awe. Yes, yes. You see it exactly. Most beings analyze only physical data, only facts. Humans can intuit relationships between concepts, between moments, between energy itself. You have a gift, Eli Winters. A human gift. Eli felt a warmth in his chest. For the first time, he understood the meaning behind her bow. She hadn't just respected him as an individual. She respected the human mind, its curiosity, its creativity, and its ability to find order in chaos. He continued working, guided by intuition as much as logic. Each section he completed revealed another, and with each revelation, Xylaria's admiration grew. She explained some of the more abstract patterns, but often she simply watched, letting Eli's perspective illuminate the lattice in ways even she could not predict. Hours blurred. Eli's mind was exhausted yet exhilarated. The stellar lattice had become a conversation between him and the universe, between human ingenuity and alien knowledge. Every discovery felt like a triumph, every insight like a gift. Finally, Eli stepped back, breathing heavily but smiling. The hologram pulsed gently, now arranged in a pattern that resonated with clarity and harmony. Even Xylaria looked momentarily speechless. A rare sight for the Empress. "You have done more than I imagined possible," she said, her voice soft but filled with wonder. "You have shown that humans are not merely observers but interpreters of the cosmos. Your mind, it is extraordinary." Eli felt both proud and humbled. I just followed what I saw. I didn't think it was extraordinary." "That is the beauty of humans," Xylaria said. "You do not seek glory, yet you create understanding. You see patterns, not for power, but for knowledge. That is why we value your species so highly." Eli's mind raced. He had always believed humans were clever, resourceful, sometimes reckless, but never that they could hold value recognized across the stars. The Empress had shown him a perspective he could never have imagined. Humans, with all their flaws, could be admired for their curiosity and insight. This changes everything," Eli whispered, gazing at the glowing threads that now shimmered with newfound order. "Indeed," Xylaria replied. "You have begun a journey that few species ever undertake. There are more challenges ahead, more patterns to uncover, more knowledge to awaken. And you, Eli Winters, will lead the way, not because you are strongest, not because you are most advanced, but because you see what others cannot." Eli felt a surge of purpose, a sense of destiny that was not tied to power or conquest, but to discovery. He realized that the universe was vast, full of mysteries, but humans had a unique spark, the ability to understand, create, and connect. I understand now," he said softly. "You bowed because humans have potential, and you respect that." "Yes," Xylaria said, bowing slightly in return, a rare gesture of her own respect and acknowledgement, "and that potential is just beginning to awaken. Together we will explore what no one else has seen. You will help us see the universe anew." As the chamber dimmed and the hologram faded, Eli felt a quiet satisfaction, a sense that he had contributed to something far greater than himself. The challenge of insight had not just tested him, it had revealed the extraordinary potential of humanity, a potential the galaxy had only begun to recognize. The glow of Zephora's twin suns bathed the palace gardens in soft golden light as Eli Winters walked beside Empress Xylaria. After the challenge of insight, Eli felt a confidence he had never known before, yet he also felt the weight of responsibility. The stellar lattice had revealed so much, yet it was only a beginning. The Empress had promised more knowledge, more discovery, and more opportunities for humanity to leave a mark on the galaxy without using violence. "You did well yesterday," Xylaria said, her voice soft but commanding. "Few beings could interpret the stellar lattice as you did. But now we face a greater task, one that requires creativity, intuition, and human ingenuity." Eli looked at her, curiosity alight in his eyes. "What task?" She gestured to a platform at the center of the chamber. It rose slowly, carrying them above a holographic map of the galaxy. Stars, planets, and energy fields glimmered in complex arrangements, some unknown even to Eli. "This is the Galactic Codex," she explained. "It contains information about lost civilizations, forgotten technologies, and secrets of planets that have vanished from recorded history. Even my people have only partially understood it. We need your perspective to uncover the truths hidden within." Eli stepped closer, studying the map. Lines of light connected planets, showing paths of influence, trade, and knowledge exchange between civilizations. Symbols pulsed over some worlds, indicating mysteries yet unsolved. Eli traced the paths with his fingers, feeling a strange resonance as the light responded to his touch. "Where do we begin?" he asked. "We begin where the patterns call to you," Xylaria replied. "Your mind perceives what ours cannot. Let it guide you." Eli nodded, closing his eyes for a moment to focus. He thought about the stellar lattice, about the way he had uncovered hidden connections before. Slowly, he traced a path through the codex, following lines that seemed to hum with energy. Symbols rearranged themselves, forming logical sequences that revealed a forgotten network of civilizations once connected by knowledge and collaboration. "Incredible," Xylaria whispered. "No one has reconstructed these paths for eons. You are revealing history itself." As Eli worked, he began noticing patterns of innovation. Planets that had seemed isolated were actually linked through ideas, philosophies, inventions, and discoveries that traveled across galaxies. Humans, he realized, had the same potential. Even small contributions could ripple across time and space, influencing countless lives. "You see more than locations," Xylaria said, her eyes bright with admiration. "You see the flow of ideas. That is what makes humans extraordinary. You connect what others see as separate." Eli's mind raced. He began reconstructing ancient roots of knowledge, linking forgotten cities and civilizations in ways the Codex had never made clear. Each discovery illuminated not only the past but also possibilities for the future. Hours passed, yet Eli did not feel fatigue. The work was exhilarating, a puzzle that challenged every part of his mind. He began to imagine humans not as isolated on Earth, but as part of this vast network of potential, capable of contributing to a greater understanding of the universe. I think I understand why you respected humans," Eli said softly. "It's not just curiosity or intelligence. It's the ability to connect things, to create meaning where others see chaos." "Exactly," Xylaria replied. "And that is why you are here, to show us how humans can shape the future of the galaxy, not through force but through insight and cooperation." Eli's fingers paused over the codex, tracing a path toward a distant star system. Symbols shimmered as they aligned into patterns he could understand. A planet, long thought barren, revealed signs of an advanced but vanished civilization. Its technology had been hidden beneath natural landscapes, waiting for someone to notice. "Eli," Xylaria said, her voice filled with excitement, "you are uncovering places that could teach us more than we have learned in centuries. Your mind sees connections that no one else can. This is the power of humans." Eli felt a mixture of pride and humility, pride in the abilities of his species, humility at the realization of how much there was to learn. He understood now that the galaxy was not just a collection of planets and stars. It was a web of knowledge, a tapestry woven by countless civilizations over millennia. "Do you see," Xylaria continued, "how human creativity and intuition can unlock the past and guide the future? You are helping us restore what was lost, not through weapons or force, but through understanding." Eli smiled. "I never thought humans could be this important in the galaxy. I always imagined we were small, maybe clever, but not significant on this scale." "You underestimate yourselves," Xylaria said gently. "Humans have potential that even advanced civilizations struggle to match. Your ability to explore, learn, and adapt is unique. You see the unseen, and that is priceless." They spent days navigating the Codex, Eli uncovering hidden networks and forgotten archives, Xylaria guiding him when needed but often simply watching, amazed at what a human mind could achieve. Eli learned about civilizations that had shared knowledge peacefully across galaxies, about inventions that had shaped countless worlds, and about philosophies that had united species for centuries. "These civilizations," Eli said one evening, tracing a path between two distant stars, "they didn't conquer others. They thrived by sharing knowledge, by collaborating." "That's beautiful." "Yes," Xylaria replied. "That is the kind of growth humans can bring to the galaxy. Not through dominance, but through insight, cooperation, and curiosity. You are proof that understanding can be more powerful than force." Eli realized that his own species had the same potential. Earth had conflicts, yes, and humans often failed to understand one another. But the spark of curiosity, of ingenuity, of connection, that was something rare and powerful. And in this moment, among the stars and with the guidance of Xylaria, he could see that potential stretching across galaxies. I never imagined humans could matter so much, Eli said softly. Not just to one planet or one civilization, but to the universe. You already do, Xylaria replied, placing a hand on his shoulder. And it will only grow. With your insight, we can restore lost knowledge, revive forgotten civilizations, and guide the future of countless species. You see patterns others cannot. That is a gift, Eli Winters, and it is a human gift. As the twin suns set once again, casting a warm glow over Zephora, Eli felt a deep sense of purpose. He had begun to understand something fundamental. Humans were capable of greatness, not through aggression, but through the simple, profound act of understanding and connecting. Tomorrow, Xylaria said, her eyes reflecting the fading sunlight, we will visit the first of the lost worlds. You will see the results of your insights firsthand. And perhaps, Eli Winters, you will understand the full importance of what humans can achieve. Eli gazed at the glowing horizon, his mind alive with possibility. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries and forgotten wonders. But he now knew that humans could play a role unlike any other species. Through curiosity, creativity, and empathy, they could help the universe remember itself. And in that realization, Eli felt a thrill unlike any he had ever known. He had begun a journey that would not just change him, but could change the way humanity was seen among the stars. He understood now. The Empress had bowed not only to him, but to the potential of all humans, a potential capable of shaping the future of the galaxy without a single act of violence, through insight, compassion, and the courage to explore the unknown. The morning on Zephora was quiet, bathed in the soft glow of the twin suns. Eli Winters stood on a balcony of the Empress's palace, gazing at the floating gardens and crystal formations below. In the days since he had first arrived, his life had transformed in ways he could never have imagined. He had faced the challenge of insight, explored the stellar lattice, and uncovered lost networks of civilizations in the galactic codex. Now he was about to leave, returning to Earth with knowledge that could change the course of humanity forever. Xylaria appeared beside him, her presence calm and dignified. Her robes shimmered like liquid light, and her eyes held a depth that Eli had grown to respect immensely. Eli Winters, she said softly, you have done more than I could have hoped. You have shown that humans can perceive, connect, and understand in ways even my people cannot. You have proven what I sensed from the moment I first saw you. Eli turned to her, feeling a mixture of pride, humility, and a twinge of sadness. I don't know how to thank you. You've taught me more than I ever imagined possible. No thanks are needed, Xylaria replied, her voice gentle. The gift is yours, Eli. You now carry the understanding of a galaxy with its past, its wisdom, and its possibilities. More importantly, you carry the knowledge that humans can shape the future, not through power, but through insight and collaboration. Eli thought of Earth, of his colleagues, of the countless people who had never left their home planet. He imagined the astonishment on their faces if he shared what he had learned. And he understood something deeply. Humans were capable of greatness, not because of weapons or dominance, but because of curiosity, creativity, and the courage to explore. I understand now, Eli said quietly, why you bowed when you first saw me. You saw potential in humans. Xylaria inclined her head. Yes, and it is a potential that must be nurtured. You are proof that even a single human can unlock understanding across galaxies. Imagine what your species can achieve together. The palace doors opened, revealing the vessel that would take Eli back to Earth. The ship hovered gracefully, its surface reflecting Zephora's glowing landscapes. Eli took a deep breath, feeling a strange mix of excitement and melancholy. He had grown attached to this world, to its beauty, and to the Empress who had treated him not as a visitor, but as a valued mind capable of changing the universe. Before you leave, Xylaria said, there is one final thing you must see. She guided Eli to a chamber at the heart of the palace. Inside, the walls glowed with soft energy, displaying images of humans on Earth, cities, forests, oceans, and people working, learning, and exploring. Eli's heart swelled with pride and nostalgia. We have observed your species, Xylaria said. Your capacity for curiosity, creativity, and empathy is remarkable. Humans are young compared to the civilizations of the galaxy, yet you have a spark that can illuminate even the darkest corners of the universe. Eli felt a lump in his throat. He had always wondered if humanity mattered in the grand scheme of things. Now he understood. Humans did matter, not for conquest or war, but for the ability to understand, to connect, and to create. "I will carry this knowledge back to Earth," Eli said softly. "I will share it, and maybe it will inspire others to see our potential." "Do so," Silaria replied. "And remember, the respect I gave you is not just for you alone, but for all humans who seek knowledge and understanding. Lead by example. Show the universe what your species can truly be." Eli nodded, determination filling his heart. He looked out at Zephora one last time. The floating gardens, the crystal formations, the twin suns shining in harmony, and felt a profound sense of connection. He realized that the galaxy was not just a distant, untouchable place. It was a place where humans could belong, where their curiosity and ingenuity could make a real difference. The vessel lifted off, carrying Eli smoothly through Zephora's violet skies. He gazed out the window as the Empress waved, her bow once again low and deliberate, filled with respect and acknowledgement. Eli understood now that this gesture was not just formality, it was a recognition of human potential, a gift of trust and hope. "I will not forget this," he whispered to himself, feeling the weight and joy of what he had experienced. The journey back to Earth was calm, giving Eli time to reflect. He thought of the stellar lattice, the galactic codex, and the lessons he had learned from Zolaria. Humans were small in comparison to the galaxy, yes, but they possessed qualities that no other species could replicate: curiosity, creativity, empathy, and the courage to explore the unknown. He imagined what could happen if humans embraced these qualities fully. Conflicts might still exist, but the potential for peace, cooperation, and understanding could grow. Humanity could connect with other species, share knowledge, and help preserve the galaxy's wisdom. When the vessel finally approached Earth, Eli felt a mixture of excitement and responsibility. He knew that life would continue as usual for most people, but for him, everything had changed. He carried knowledge, understanding, and a renewed sense of purpose. Humans were not insignificant. They were capable of greatness, and he had seen it firsthand. Upon landing, the vessel's doors opened, and Eli stepped onto familiar soil. The air smelled like home, yet everything felt different. The sky seemed wider, the stars more alive, and the world filled with endless possibility. Eli looked up at the sky, imagining Zephora's twin suns and the Empress who had shown him a new perspective. He understood now that respect and recognition were not earned through strength or dominance, but through curiosity, courage, and the desire to understand. "I will share this," Eli said quietly. "I will show humans what we can be." He walked through the familiar streets of Earth, feeling a connection between his home planet and the galaxy beyond. Every person he saw was a potential mind, a spark of curiosity waiting to ignite. He imagined a future where humans explored space not for conquest, but for learning, understanding, and cooperation with countless other civilizations. Days turned into weeks as Eli began sharing his experiences. He spoke to scientists, philosophers, and explorers, describing the beauty of Zephora, the wisdom of Xylaria, and the power of human ingenuity. People listened, inspired not just by the stories, but by the realization that humans had potential far beyond what they had imagined. And though Eli never saw Xylaria again, her presence remained with him. Her bow, her respect, and her recognition of human potential were now etched into his heart. He knew that humanity had a chance to become something extraordinary, not through force, but through the very qualities that made them human: curiosity, creativity, empathy, and courage. Eli Winters became a bridge between Earth and the wider galaxy. He shared knowledge, inspired exploration, and encouraged understanding. Humans began to see themselves differently, not as small and insignificant, but as beings capable of illuminating the universe with thought, creativity, and cooperation. And every time he looked at the night sky, he remembered the Empress of Zephora, the bow that had sparked a new vision, and the potential within every human mind. He understood that greatness was not measured by power, but by the ability to learn, connect, and inspire. The universe was vast, mysterious, and beautiful, and humans, through insight, curiosity, and courage, had a place among the stars. Eli Winters smiled, knowing that this was only the beginning. Humanity's journey had just started, and the galaxy was waiting.